Hello everyone, I am ARG. The game on the screen is Franchise Hockey Manager 9, and the team that I'm using is still the Hartford Whalers. So welcome to another episode today where we are trying to make history by winning the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row with the Hartford Whalers before they relocate to Carolina. So that's my challenge. Not only am I playing Hey Kim, welcome aboard. Not only am I playing in an era that I'm not as familiar with, but I have put extra challenges on myself, and it's starting to show. I had a very terrible month of November where I don't remember what my record was. I'm pretty sure I only won 2 games, though. Maybe only 1 even. So the month started pretty good, right? We went I think 3 games undefeated or something like that, and then, it started to get ugly real fast. So of course, when that happens, I'm trying to look at ways to shake up my team. So I looked at different maybe trades that I could make. That's true. Now, keep in mind, Kim, I'm not in charge of drafting my own players, so the computer can still shaft me pretty heavily without lube, so that could be terrible. So, as I was saying, I've been looking maybe at a couple trades and everything like that. Turns out I don't have a lot of value on my team, so I kind of looked at... Just for shits and giggles, I looked at what is the value of Gordial, 51 years old Gordial. The best offer I got was from the Quebec Nordiques, and it was a 4th round draft pick, so we're not going to be pursuing that avenue. Then I looked for Al Sims, because he's a 3-star defenseman, but he's playing with an injury right now. Also didn't get a whole lot of value. That's true, Kim, that's true. We'll see. And now that brings me up to... Now, I like to usually get the people that watch me involved. So I started to tinker with truly the only player that I have that has true value at this time, which is... Markow. Now, Markow is a 5-star defenseman. That should be pretty close to his true value. Markow was pretty solid... in real life for another 8 years or so, was pretty solid defenseman and everything. I don't know about necessarily 5 stars, but he was pretty solid. So he's definitely the player that I have the most value on. Now, as we know, one of my weaknesses is at D, so that brings a very interesting dilemma. Do I sacrifice Markow to make the team a little bit better in other areas? Or do I build around Markow like I have stated in the past? Are we going to build around him? So here's what happens. I have found a trade partner with pieces that I would be comfortable with trading for Markow. So it started. It started with me trying to get a 1st round draft pick. That's pretty much mission impossible. So then I started to look at youngish players that would be with me for a little while. That would be pretty good. I did fine. So it would be, I would send Markow to another team for 2 players between ages 20 and 25. Both of them should have a fairly decent career. Somewhat long as well, so they should be around us for a while. None of them are probably going to be a 5-star players, but they should be good players. Now, the thing about Markow is that I think that he's a little bit overrated as a 5-star defenseman. I think he's probably more of a 4 or 4.5 star player, to be quite frank. So, yep, I can definitely do that. So, here's the thing. Personally, that's just a guess. Okay, keep in mind I'm also using the Franchise Hockey Manager engine, so I don't know what's going to happen. Markow could become a bust starting next season, or he could be the next Reborg. Who knows? Okay, what I know is that he's 24. He's in his prime. My guess is that Markow's value is probably the highest that it's gonna be at the moment. So what do we do? Okay, so we have three options. First option, I trade Markow to the other team for the two other players, and that's the catch. I'm not telling you who, okay? A little bit of more of a challenge here. Do I sacrifice Markow for two good players that are not going to be superstars, but they're going to be good, and that should be with us for a while? So do I do that? B, I hold on to Markow and we build around him. And, you know, knowing that he's going to be a good defenseman. I think he's maybe a little bit overvaluated right now, but I don't think that it's like outrageous or anything like that. So do we build around Markow like I said that we should do? Or C, do we wait until the end of the season, see what the computer drafts for us, because as we know there's going to be Paul Coffey in there, see what the computer drafts for us and reevaluate then, knowing that there's a chance that Markow might dip in value by then. So those are the three options. We trade him now. Well, not now. I'm not going to do that today, so I'm going to wait because I also have people watching me on YouTube, right? So I'm going to go ahead and wait and see what people say. And then do we trade Markow for two good pieces that are fairly young? Do we hold on to Markow because we don't have great defense, so we would build around him for D? Or do we wait until the end of the season and reevaluate then after we see what we get in the draft? Those are the three options. I'm leaving that up to you, folks, so let me know how you feel. That is true, Kim. That is true. Like I said, I feel like he's maybe more of a 4.5 star player. Like, I don't think he's completely overrated. I just think he's slightly overrated. That's my feeling about it. He could definitely be a 5-star player as well. To me, 5-star players are usually the Ray Borks and the exception players. And Markow was extremely good for a while. I don't know that he was Ray Bork good because it was a little bit before my time. That's how I feel. So let me know how you feel about that. We have three choices here. Nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and play December. There's not going to be a trade right now. I did look at a few things, but it's been rough. That is correct. I looked that kind of stuff too, and I looked at his real stats, and he's had some very good seasons. Like he had a 82 point season in 85-86, and he had a 80 point season in this very season. So I'm not saying he's bad at all, but what I'm saying he's pretty much my only player that has value. Hey Kel, what's up? He's pretty much the only player that has value, and maybe his value is gonna decline. So do we want to capitalize on this right now, or are we holding on to him? I'm fine either way. I'm not trying to get rid of him. I'm just saying if we want to shake things up, that might have to be the guy that has to go. All right, now we've been talking and talking and talking. Well, technically I've been talking and talking and talking. Well, Kim's been talking. Well, Kim's been typing, but you know what I mean. So we're going to go ahead and play the month of December. It should be a pretty busy month from the look of it. Looks like we're going to have a western trip there where we're going to go to Edmonton, Vancouver, LA, and Colorado. So it's all very beautiful. We are sitting 7th in the conference. There's starting to be a little bit of a gap between us and the 6th place team, the Minnesota North Stars. So yeah, we're in danger of falling here because even the teams that are behind us are not all that far behind. So might be a little tough, and we're starting against a pretty good team. We're starting against the Montreal Canadiens right now today. That's a road game, and we still have injuries, of course. So now Al Sims, I made the decision to make him play with his injury, so he's gonna be like injured for the rest of the season. And then Mike Rogers, of course, still out for 1 to 2 months, and then Fotsu should be back soon, and Carroll is out a couple weeks. So with that being said, let's take a look at the Montreal Canadiens before we start playing them. So Kim, you still haven't told me what your opinion is about the question I had. I don't know if you're still pondering and everything. And of course, I'm keeping it a little bit of a mystery because I'm not saying who the players I've targeted are. I'm keeping that a secret. it's on purpose. What I can tell you is that they should be good players and they should be with us for a while. That's fair, and I have no problem keeping Al. He's a really good player. All right, so here's the Montreal Canadiens. Let's take a look here. No injuries to speak of, so a very healthy team, very good team. Now, Denis Héron and Michel Larocque in net. That's Michel, right? Yeah, Michel Larocque in net. Brian Engblom, Guy Lapointe, Nairop, Larry Robinson, Chartres, Rod Langouet, Serge Savard on D. Up front, they have Dupont-Guéné, Hull, Yvon Lambert, Steve Shutt, Doug Jarvis, Pierre Larouche, Pierre Mondou. Yep. Doug Ricebro, Danny Jeffrion, Guy Lafleur, Mark Napier, and Mario Tremblay. It's going to be a tough game. We have injuries. They don't have any. Montreal's pretty good. You know, it hurts for me to say that every time that it's true and that I have to say it. So it hurts. Let's see if we can beat Montreal. Now keep in mind, my hands are tied a little bit as well because I claimed a lot of players off waivers and now I cannot trade them because thank you out of the park development team for making that kind of a rule that does not apply in real life. So now I'm stuck with those players until the end of the season. I do not think that I am going to claim anybody else unless there's somebody I really cannot pass on. All right. Let's go. So John Garrett's going to be in net for us, and Denis Héron is going to be in net for Montreal. And of course, as usual, we need a good go Waiters go with our terrible 6-12-4 record. I forgot to say Montreal is 16-5-3. Really good record for Montreal. Oh, that came close. We lost 4-3 in Montreal, so I guess maybe a moral victory. They like to call that when you go play a better team than yours on the road and you lose by just one goal. Oh, we outshot them too, so we did play pretty good. So yeah, that would be a moral victory to lose only by one goal against Montreal, I suppose. So we outshot them 35-30. Pierre Larouche was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Blaine Stockton was the second star with an assist, and Guy Lafleur was the third star with a goal and an assist. So Montreal scored first in the first period. They scored twice. That was 2-0 Montreal after 1. Then we had a pretty good second period. We scored 3 unanswered goals. Rick Aduono scored from Byron Shutt and Gardy Roberts. Then Rick Hodgson scored from Blaine Stockton and Dave Keon. It was tied at 2. And then Gardy Roberts scored his 5th of the season. Made it 3-2 Hartford after 2. We felt pretty good about ourselves. But in the third period, late in the third, Larry Robinson tied the game, and then with 1:54 left to go in the game, Steve Shutt scored on the power play while Bob Stevenson was in the box. That was a power play goal. That was a game winner. We lost by 1 goal, so we couldn't hold on to the lead in that one. So we played decently, but yet again, that's not the first time that has happened this season. We have not been able to hold on to the lead in the third period. Might be a leadership problem. I'm looking at Dave Keon. He's my captain. He's old, but not as old as Gordie Howe. Nobody is as old as Gordie Howe. Oh, Byron Shutt is hurt, so we have another injury. That's the franchise hockey manager way. Right, so Mike Boland has been put on waivers. I'm not claiming him. Right, what do we have here? Marcel Dion's point streak ended at 14 games, held scoreless against the Chicago Blackhawks. So, of course, his assist streak ended at 8 games as well. Gary McAdam extends his assist streak to 9 games. He had an assist against the Colorado Rockies. Maple Leafs, Williams suspended, so that's Tiger Williams. He's going to miss 3 games. Reggie Leach has a good game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Leafs in that same game. And, we're going to see how the owner feels about me. He's satisfied with the team's performance. We're a serious contender. No, we're not. You should be looking for players to help us right now. I have been looking further out. We should be a contender next year. A little early to call that. The fans are satisfied with the job you've been doing. Well, cool. Things could be better, but we're not at the stage where we need to look at replacing you yet. You cannot. I have that box tick. Thank you. Alright, so we have a couple days off, and then we're going to be playing in Washington against the Caps. That's also going to be our first game of the season against them. So Montreal, with that win, Montreal is now first in the conference. Hurts to see. Oh, and Byron Schutt is out 1 to 2 weeks. A coach report on new players: Don Nagbar feeling better about himself. Greg Carroll ready to resume skating. That's good. And Nick Fultz ready for more drills. Alright, so what does it look like? Do I need to... Oh. Yeah, let's sim one more day. Maybe one of those guys is going to be able to play. I don't want to have to send one down, but on injured reserve, but I might have to. Alright, let's see what happens here. Oh, there's a bunch of players on waivers. No one could stop Pat Hickey with the Rangers. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Montreal Canadiens. And Nick Fotu fitting better. He might be able to play then. Right, so we have Bobby Guindon. Pretty sure I've looked at him before. Yeah, not claiming you for sure. Andy Spruce. No, thank you. Brad Gassoff, we looked at him. It's a no. Same for... Oh, no, it's Colin Campbell. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, Colin Campbell can play. I'm not going to claim him, though. Although he's a defenseman. I'm not going to claim him. I have too many waiver claims, and I can't trade them or anything. And then third bench we've seen a few times, so we're not going to... Man... Nah, we're good. We're good. We don't need him. Oh, Fotu can play. Alright, he's going to play injured. That's fine. It's 1979, man. Alright, so Washington Capitals. We're playing them on the road. They are 12-9-5. They play in the other conference. So, decent record there. Let's take a look at their lineup here. Oh, so they do have Gord Lane. That's not going to be playing this game. Other than that, they are healthy. They have... Oh, that's Gary Innes and... Wayne Stevenson in net, and then Bouchard, Rick Green, Labrie, Picard, Svensson, Skamura, McKinnon on D, and then up front they have, that's Guichard, Gerard Polish, Edberg, Dennis Extall, Lalonde, Marouk, Walter, Jarvis, Casolato, Mike Gartner. I wouldn't hate putting Mike Gartner on my team. Gustafson, Rowe, and Sewa. Gartner is had, I think, 17 straight seasons with 30 goals. Something like that. Mike Gartner was a very good player. And I believe he's one of the best players to never have won the cup. I believe Mike Gartner never won the cup. If we took, a look, like, he had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh. He was hurt. Or maybe it wasn't consecutive. I think he had a total of 17 seasons with 30 goals. That's still excellent, even if it's not straight. It's still really excellent. All right. Another tough game on the horizon. Hopefully Dave Keon, Gordial can make their old legs move a little bit faster here, and maybe we can win this game. Al Smith is in net for the Whalers, trying to shake things up for us. Wayne Stevenson is in net for the Capitals. Go Whalers! Ooh, that's ugly. That's an 8-1 loss. We haven't won in forever. We're starting to not feel very good about ourselves. That's an 8-1 loss in Washington. That's ugly. We were outmatched 38-17 in that game for the shots. Dennis Marouk was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Labre was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Edberg was the third star with a goal and an assist. Washington scored 3 times in the first period. It was 3-0 Washington in the first period. And then we have Tom Rowe and Gordie Howe getting into a fight, and then Dennis Extall and Bill Bennett as well. So 2 fights in the first. We're down 3-0 after 1. That's not good. Dave Keon did score in the second period, made it 3-1 from Rick Hodgson and Jordy Douglas. Gave us maybe a sliver of hope, but then Washington scored 2 more goals. It was 5-1 after 2. Rick Hodgson boarded and might get suspended. And then Washington scored 3 more goals in the third period. That was an 8-1 massacre in DC. And we're going to have to move on from that. And Markow is injured. Maybe I should have traded him now. And Rick Hodgson is hurt. It's not going very well. Oh boy. He's day-to-day. Alright, so Markow is day-to-day with a bruised leg. And Hodgson is suspended. He's going to miss 6 games. Oh, dear God. And Gardy Roberts converts to right defense. All right. We ain't doing too hot over here. Okay. All right, so we have 3 days off, and then we're going to play 1 home game against the Rangers, and then we're hitting the road. So I'll advance that, and then I'll see what I need to do as far as calling people up or something like that. Frank Baith and Norm Barnes. Ooh, another guy that could be playing. Dang. Frank Baith. Oh, you could also play as a defenseman. Man. I did say I wasn't going to claim anybody else. I might have to. One, two. Yeah, I think so too. That's why I'm considering it. But yeah, I think we're gonna go for him. I think we're gonna go for Barnes. He can play a few different roles. I like that he can play a little bit offensively and a little bit defensively. I like that. All right, Norm Barnes, we are claiming you. We're going to figure out that cluster fudgesicle afterwards. All right, let's see what we have in the news. Bob Nystrom extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal against the Canucks. Terry O'Reilly is suspended in Boston. He's going to miss 5 games. René Robert is hurt in Colorado. He's going to miss 4 weeks. Got hurt against the Quebec Nordiques. Nick Fotiu almost completely back. That's good, that's good. We still have 2 days here to hope that, injuries stop being a problem. Randy Holt. Oh, he's a goon. I don't need another goon, especially for a defenseman. Not my jam. Gord Smith. Yeah, I don't need you. And then JP LeBlanc. Don't need you either. All right. A night to remember for Rick Martin. 3 goals and an assist against the Atlanta Flames. Passes on point for Gilbert Perrault. He had a goal and 5 assists again in that same game. Dale McCourt has a strong game in Detroit. He had 4 assists against the Jets. Gary McAdam extends his assist streak to 10 games with an assist against the Canucks. Suspension over for Paul Gardner in Toronto, back in the lineup. Nick Fotiu is healthy. Oh, and then there's been a trade between the Jets and the Kings. Warren Holmes for Gord Smith. Wasn't he put on waivers right away afterwards? Man, they need to fix that. That's dumb. I mean, not that it's like star players or anything, like it's small players, but still, like you don't throw an asset in the garbage like that. You just don't. Alright, and we have 1 more day off, and then we're going to be playing against the Rangers. Bob Nystrom extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against the Bruins. And Brown's Child, oh god, I have no idea how to say that name. Anyway, he's suspended, and he's going to miss 7 games. So that's 7 games where I don't have to say his name. That's good. That's definitely good. Alright. Let's figure out what we have going on here. Oh, I have 23 players, so I'm good. Oh, that's because I didn't get Barnes. That's why. Somebody else got him. So then I still need to figure out what I'm gonna do then. Am I playing with 5 defensemen? That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it looks like I might be playing with 5 defensemen. I do believe that they were doing that in the 80s, so I don't think I'm gonna send somebody down. Or I could put Greg Carroll on the injured reserve and recall a defenseman. Because I have so many great defensemen to recall, I guess I'm going to go back to, who is the guy that, Bynack is the guy I traded for. I mean, he's as good as anybody else. Like, that guy can barely play in the American League. What about you? Oh, you might be able to play as a two-way defenseman here. Maybe. So maybe Marc Renaud. Yeah, I think Marc Renaud is going to be the guy. That guy is terrible, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he can't even play in the American League. Then Stuart Smith. Yeah, alright, we're going to get Marc Renaud back up. I remember that he got a few points in the development, and that might have tipped him over. Because I didn't have anybody in the that started in the minors that had a 10 somewhere. Oh, he doesn't. He's a 9. Well, it is what it is. Alright, so let's play the Rangers. So we did win against the Rangers. It was at Madison Square Garden. It was a very nice 5-1 win. The Rangers are now 14, 11, and 2. And they are playing in the other conference. It's been rough for us. What's the... it doesn't show what I... Doesn't show what I wanted it to show. Kind of curious. Our last win was on November 14th in Winnipeg. We are now on December 7th, so we haven't won in almost a month. So let's get a win here. We're back on home ice for one game. Let's beat the Rangers. John Davidson is going to be in net for the Rangers. Al Smith is going to be in net for the Waiters. Come on, Waiters, turn it around. A 5-2 win. We have the Rangers number. We are 2 for 2 against the Rangers this year. A nice 5-2 win at home. Even though we were outshot 38-27, we can say thanks to Al Smith for that one. So André Lacroix was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Gordy Roberts was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Al Smith was the third star with 36 saves. Pretty good. Pretty good performance for him here. I believe that's a sellout. 7,627 people in attendance. So we open up the scoring in the first. It was a Blaine Stockton power play goal assisted by Gordy Roberts and André Lacroix. And then Dave Keon scored his 10th of the season unassisted. It was a 2-0 Hartford lead after one. In the second period, we made it 3-0. Marc Renaud, freshly recalled from the American League, scores what I believe is that would be his first NHL goal, because Hartford just moved into the NHL and that's his first game. So first NHL goal in his first game for Marc Renaud, assisted by Dave DeBall. That was a 3-0 Hartford game after 2. And in the third period, the Rangers scored, made it 3-1. Then Gordy Roberts scored from Blaine Stockton and Rick Clay, made it 4-1. Then the Rangers scored again, and then André Lacroix scored his 5th from Gordie Howe and Bill Bennett. 5-2 victory. And we had a fight between Rick Clay and Ron Duguay. All right, well, first win in almost a month. Always feels good. Oh, there's a lot of waivers there. Dave Taylor is suspended in LA. He's going to miss 3 games. Memorable game for Pierre Larouche. He had 4 assists for Montreal against the Kings. Mario Faubert extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and an assist against the Capitals. Gary McAdam extends his assist streak to 11 games with a goal and an assist in that same game. Then Peter Maron has been put on the trading block, and apparently Quebec is getting some offers for him. Let's take a look at those guys. Maybe there's a gem in here. Oh, there's a couple star and a half players. So we have John Marks. Yeah. I have a lot of similar forwards to that have like 10s in the grinder category, so I don't really need this guy. Frank Beaton. Kind of the same. He's a goon. I have a few goons. I'm good. RV Bennett. Again, like 10 and grinder. Don't really need this guy. We've looked at Baith before. Gorman. That's a guy we traded to. Oh yeah. No, it's not. Is it? I don't remember. François Lacombe. Yeah. The game doesn't like defensive defensemen much. Oh, no info available, so we don't know this guy at all. I'm gonna leave him alone. Alright, I'm not claiming anybody. Let's move. And now we're gonna be in Edmonton to play the Oilers, who are still without Wayne Gretzky, who, as we know, got hurt in the last preseason game and hasn't played since. Could explain why the Oilers are struggling. Do we have... No, Markov still unable to play. Yeah. I think that they should overhaul the game rating system completely, because it's still too reliant on, like, if a player is a 5-star player, the game rating is always going to be higher, even if the player doesn't really do anything, as opposed to, like you said, like a 2-star defenseman that might have like a really good game or something like that, but he gets shafted because he's a 2-star. They really should rework that. At least that's been my experience with the system. I don't think it's completely horrible, but there's definitely work that should go into that. Alright, in Edmonton, the Oilers are 9-14-2. Do they have Gretzky back? They do not. That's good for us. They do have Mark Messier, though. We did lose against Edmonton 3-1 earlier this season, so let's go ahead and beat them in their barn. Fresh off a victory of our own, maybe we're going to feel confident enough to run away with a win here. Al Smith is going to be in net. Of course, he just won. Dave Dryden is going to be in net for Edmonton. And of course, go Whalers, go. We lost 3-2. That's not good. All right, so a 3-2 loss in Edmonton. We were outshot 41-27. So we got kind of outplayed here. McDonald was the first star of the game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. Rick Clay was the second star for us. He had an assist. And Hamilton was the third star with 3 assists. Nobody scored in the first period. Then in the second period, we did score first. Blaine Stockton scored on the power play from Al Angsleben and André Lacroix. It was 1-0 Hartford, but Edmonton scored twice in 44 seconds. And then it was 2-1 Edmonton after 2. In the third period, Edmonton made it 3-1, and then Jordy Douglas scored from Blaine Stockton and Rick Clay with 2 minutes and 14 seconds left, but we just couldn't tie the game. And that's a 3-2 loss. There was a fight between Peter Driscoll and Rick Aduono. And that's pretty much it. Good night for Blair McDonald. As we saw, he had a hat-trick, 3 goals. New York loses Ulf Nilsson to injury. Oh, that's going to suck. He's pretty good. He's out for 5 months. You've been franchise hockey managered. That's a term. That's a verb. No one could stop Mike Bossy. He had 4 goals against the Rangers. Open ice leads to a productive night for Bobby Clark, who had 4 assists against the Blackhawks. And Markov ready for contact. He's going to be able to play. Not yet. Oh yeah, he's good. That's like right when he's in his prime too. Yeah, he's 22, already a 5-star player. That's what he looks like. He had 126 points last season. He has 20 and 14 in my universe so far. Yeah, Mike Bossy was a very good player. That's a perfect case of a guy that it really sucks that injuries caught up to him because he was a really good player. But the injuries caught up to him and feels like his career was cut short. Alright, we have the day off and then we're going to be in Vancouver to play the Canucks. Wayne Wood has been put on waivers, and we have a few news here. Mike Foligno extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal against the Buffalo Sabres. Markov back soon, that'd be great. Oh, there's been a trade between the Red Wings and the Jets. Wayne Wood and Jerry Ryu, yet again, another time where the computer makes a trade and then dumps the player on waivers. And they pretty much add that. Probably I don't know if the computer is using him, but there was that awesome little player playing with Mike Bossy. There he is. So that guy, that would be. Now, I don't know if they have him as a screener. Yeah, he's not really a screener, but Clark Gillies was kind of your power forward. So maybe not exactly what we're looking for, but that's like the type of player that was definitely making more room for Mike Bossy on the ice. Alright, in Vancouver to play the Canucks. Canucks have not a great season either. They are 9-18-2. We have not played the Canucks this season. Let's take a look here. Oh, we have a few injuries here. So, Harold Schneps is hurt, not gonna play. And then Don Lever, same deal, not gonna play. He's hurt as well. And then John Hughes also hurt, not gonna play. So in net, the Canucks have Bromley and Glenn Hanlon. They have Martial that they have claimed off waivers from us. Ubik Hughes, Kearns, Mano, Lindgren, McCarthy on the up front. They have Brent Ashton, Fraser, John Gillis, Sedelbauer, Derlago, Graden, Jacques Lemaire, Odaifson, Lupul, Blight, Callender, Schmill, and Rick Vive. Alright, let's see if we can beat the Canucks. Might be a tough game, even though they don't have a good record. John Garrett is going to be in net for the Whalers. Glenn Hanlon is going to be in net for Vancouver. Oh, 3-2 win, and I forgot to say go Whalers go. Might be why. Alright, so a 3-2 win here in Vancouver. So we'll take it. Oh yeah, we were outplayed again. We need our best players to come back. Like Mike Rogers and Mark Howe needs to come back in the. Both need to come back in the lineup. It's we're getting outmatched pretty much every game. So we were outshot 48-27. We can say thanks to John Garrett for that one. So Blaine Stockton was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Fraser was the second star with a goal. John Garrett had 46 saves. The third star, of course. So Vancouver opened up the scoring in the first. And then Blaine Stockton tied the game with his 10th of the season. That was a power play goal from Mark Howe, who is back from injury. And André Lacroix, then Dave Keon scored from Jordy Douglas and Blaine Stockton. 2-1 Hartford after one. Then in the second period, Mark Renault scored again. Wow, I might not send him down at this rate. Mark Renault scored from Blaine Stockton. It was 3-1 Hartford after 2. We had a fight between Rick Vive and Gordial. Then in the third period, Vancouver scored. It was 3-2 with about 7 minutes and something left to go into the third period, but we managed to win this game. Mike Bossy extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and an assist against the Montreal Canadiens. And Gary McAdams' assist streak ended at 11 games. Didn't get a point against the St. Louis Blues. Alright, so everybody's healthy now. And honestly, what am I gonna do? Mark Renault with 2 goals in 3 games here. Almost want to keep him. What did he do in real life? Yeah, he did have a 31-point season in 82-83, but yeah. Alright, very next day we're in LA, so we cannot celebrate the win for too long. We are going to be facing the Kings. We are 0-1 against the Kings. The Kings are 14-12-2. That's good for 4th in the conference. Al Smith in net for the Waiters. Mario Lessard in net for the Kings. Go, Waiters, go. 2 games in 2 nights. Oh, lost 2-1. That's a tough one. We were outshot 29-19, and that one Palmer was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Polish, for me, was the second star with a goal, and Wilson was the third star with an assist. And nobody scored in the first, then in the second period, the Kings scored. It was 1-0 Kings after 2. We tied the game. Mike Polish scored from Gordy Roberts and Gordy Howe. It was tied at 1, but about 7 minutes later, King scored, and that score would hold. That's a 2-1 victory for the Kings. And we had a fight between Brad Selwood and Nick Fotiu. Bill Lissuk has been put on waivers, not claiming him. Suspension for New York's Maloney. Don Maloney was suspended for 4 games. No one could stop Dave Lumley. He had a hat-trick 3 goals against the Atlanta Flames. Tiger Williams back from suspension in Toronto. Mike Gartner keeps fans on their feet all night with a 3 goals and 1 assist performance against the Minnesota North Stars. Mark Howe is already playing injured. Byron Schutt should be back soon. Then we have 2 days off, and then we're going to be playing against the Colorado Rockies, one of the very few teams with a worse record than us. Bobby Clark has a memorable game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Quebec Nordiques. And Mark Howe says he's ready. Good. We can use you, buddy. Another day off. Guy Lafleur extends his point streak to 12 games with an assist against the Oilers. Big game for Rob Ramage. He had a hat-trick against the Vancouver Canucks. And could Ron Lalonde be traded with the Capitals? He's been put on the block. We are in Colorado to play against the Rockies. That's our second trip over there. We won the first game 5-1. We are looking into winning another one here. Colorado is not in our conference. Let's see if we can beat them again. Another nice victory would be a golden. John Garrett in net for the Whalers. Bill McKenzie in net for the Colorado Rockies. Go Whalers, go! Oh yeah, a 4-2 win for the Whalers. So we're kind of improving because we're winning 1, losing 1, winning 1, losing 1, winning 1, losing 1. That's better than our month of November, to be honest. So at least we're winning some games. That's pretty much. And again, we were outshot 37-29. We need our better players to be there. Well, Mark Howe is back. We still need Mike Rogers. He's our best center. Dave DeBall was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Wilf Payment was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Al Sims was the third star with an assist. Actually, Colorado took a 2-0 lead into the first period here, so they were up 2-0. Then in the second period, Markow scored his 5th of the season on the power play from André Lacroix and Dave Double. It was 2-1 Colorado after 2. And then in the third period, we scored 3 unanswered goals. So for once, it's not us that collapsed into the third period. It's the other team. That would be Colorado. 3 straight goals. Dave Keon scored from Gordie Howe and Al Sims. Then Dave Double scored on the power play from Bill Bennett. And Blaine Stockton on the power play as well from André Lacroix and Markow. 4-2 the final score here in Colorado. And that concludes that Western trip. Now we're going to be back at home for a couple games. Memorable night for Ray Bourque with Boston. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Blackhawks. Dave Taylor is back from suspension in LA, back in the lineup over there. Bob Gainey is out of the lineup, listed as day-to-day with Montreal, not a big deal. Guy Lafleur extends his point streak to 13 games with an assist against the Jets. Phil Esposito extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against the Washington Capitals. Greg Carroll ready for contact, should be back soon. Byron Schott not far from returning. And then there's been a trade between Ed Pizunski and Jim Stewart. Another very small trade. Man, that's crazy. All the trades in that season are almost all for half-star players being traded amongst each other. Like during preseason, there's a few players that were like 2.5 stars that got traded, and now it's all half-star players. Nobody's moving a big name or anything like that. Maybe at the trade deadline. Maybe. All right, we have 3 days off, and then we're going to be hosting the Washington Capitals. We're going to be looking at avenging that horrible, horrible loss we suffered in Washington. That was an 8-1 trouncing. Oh, we have a trade proposal. Terry O'Reilly is back from suspension in Boston. Byron Schott is completely recovered. And Pittsburgh wants to trade us Dale Lewis for Rick Lay. Now, let's take a look at Dale Lewis. He's an alpha star player. And those are his ratings in the American League. So you know what we're going to say to that. We're going to say, no thank you. We're going to be polite. Let's be polite today. Right, we have a guy that came back. Is it the guy that was here? No. Okay. Alright. So now we only have Hodgson that's suspended. That's not playing. 1 game remaining, so he's gonna miss the next game against Washington, and then he's gonna be back. Oh, Tom Youngans in Minnesota has been hurt. He's gonna miss 4 months. Well, that happens. 1 more day off, and the injury list is getting smaller, folks. We are getting better over there. All right, Mike Bussey has a great game. Oh yeah, not too bad, not too shabby. 5 goals and an assist against the Colorado Rockies for Mike Bussey. Guy Lafleur extends his point streak to 14 games. He had 2 goals against the St. Louis Blues. And then there's been a trade between the Blues and the Maple Leafs. Brian Ogilvy and the rights to Tony Meagher for Carl Brewer and Alain Bélanger. All right, so Brian Ogilvy is a 1-star player. And that Carl Brewer is 41. He's a 1-star player. Alain Bélanger is a half-star player. So again, you know, not exactly a blockbuster trade. All right, Brian Maxwell has been put on waivers. That's interesting. Oh, he's not that great. When I saw 2 stars, I had a little bit of hope, but I'm not gonna claim him. Then Bruce Boudreau, might be familiar with the name. Yes, that's the coach, Bruce Boudreau. Yeah, I'm not gonna claim him either. All right, Washington is in town. They are now 14-10-7. Of course, we are 0-1 against them. We got massacred. Hopefully that changes here. Gary Ennis is going to be in net for Washington. John Garrett is going to be in net for the Hartford Whalers. Go, Whalers, go. Let's make it 2 wins in a row. Nah, we lost 4-1. Means we win the next game, right? Because we're winning 1, losing 1, winning 1, losing 1. So next game, that's a lock. We're going to win that game. At a 4-1 loss, we were outshot 34-27. So outshot again, but not too completely terrible. Mike Gartner was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Denis Marouk was the second star with 2 assists. And Picard was the third star with an assist. Sellout crowd in Hartford again. Washington opened up the scoring in the first period. And then André Lacroix scored on a power play from Mark Howe and Gordy Roberts. We had a tie game. It was 1-1 after 1. There was a fight between Rick Lee and Yvon Labre. And that was that. And in the second period, Mike Gartner scored twice for Washington, made it 3-1 Washington. Couple fights as well. Al Angsleben and Mike Gartner got into a scrap. And then Rick Lee and Greg Paulis fought as well. We were down 3-1 after 2. And then in the third period, the Washington Capitals added 1 more goal, and that was a 4-1 victory for them. So we lost again. Alright, so Hodgson is back from suspension. That's good. Back in the lineup for us. Guy Lafleur's point streak ended at 14 games. He was held scoreless against the North Stars. Wilf Payman lights the lamp. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Quebec Nordiques. No further punishment for Daryl Sittler, not suspended. Not surprising, he plays for Toronto. A little bit of bias, maybe? Maybe? Gilbert Perreault extends his assist streak to 8 games with a goal and an assist against the Jets. And Greg Carroll, ahead of schedule, might be back sooner rather than later. And we have a couple days off before we play another home game, which is going to be against the Buffalo Sabres this time. Gilbert Perreault extends his assist streak to 9 games with 2 assists against the Kings. And Greg Carroll, yet again, coming back soon-ish. Another day off. Denis Marouk extends his point streak to 12 games with 2 assists against the Canucks. Greg Carroll is back fully now, and Biankin trade rumors fly when Biankin in Edmonton has been put on the block. Alright, so now we have Carroll back. We're going to go ahead and get him back in the lineup. Alright, and I'm going to send Mark Renault back down. He's not playing anymore. He had a nice start to his career, so we're going to take note of that. We're not, but, you know, we need to keep him motivated. So I'm taking a note here. Alright, yeah. Oh, yeah, there we go. Alright. Buffalo is in town now. They are 19-7-7 on the season. That's good for 3rd in the conference, so that's a pretty good team. We are 1-1 against the Buffalo Sabres. That was a 3-2 win and a 3-2 loss. So, what is it going to be this time? And Greg Carroll's back on the 4th line. Bob Sauvé is in net for Buffalo. John Garrett is in net for Hartford. Go, Whalers, go. And we won 3-1. Didn't I say next game is a lock? It's going to be a win? I did say that. 3-1 win on home ice against the Buffalo Sabres, who have a pretty decent team. So we'll take it again. We were outshot 33-28. Blaine Stockton was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Mike Ramsey was the second star with a goal, and Jordy Douglas was the third star with 2 assists. Sellout crowd, nobody scored in the first. Then in the second period, Dave Keon scored from Jordy Douglas and Blaine Stockton. Then Gordy Roberts scored from Jordy Douglas and Blaine Stockton. It was 2-0 Hartford. Then Buffalo scored. It was 2-1 after 2. Not a lot of penalties in this game. Then in the third period, Blaine Stockton added to our lead with a power play goal from Mark Howe and Gordy Roberts. We had a 3-1 victory here. Alright, so far I'm not too disappointed with our months. Like, of course we're not like on a 9-game winning streak or anything like that, but we don't have the team for that kind of record. So far, I like that we're kind of holding our own, kind of. So that's pretty much the best I can expect for, you know, the team we have right now. Gilbert Perreault's assist streak ended at 9 games. No points against us. We did that. We, us, me and all of you folks. All right, Dennis Maruk extends his point streak to 13 games. He had an assist against the Islanders. Denis Potvin extends his point streak to 12 games. He had 2 assists against the Washington Capitals in that same game. Don Maloney is back from suspension in New York. Ken Houston in Atlanta is not suspended. And there was no stopping Pete Maravlich, who had a hat-trick 3 goals against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Alright, looks like we have a home and home against Philadelphia, but with Christmas sandwiched between the 2 games. So we're going to play the Flyers in Philadelphia on the 23rd, and then back at home on the 26th, right after Christmas. So we are 0-1 against the Flyers. It was a 7-3 loss. Flyers are really good. They are 28-3, so let's go ahead and beat them. Hopefully. Al Smith is going to be in net for us. Phil Meyer in net for Philadelphia. Go Hartford, go. Can we make it? 2 wins in a row for the first time this month. Nope. That's a 6-1 loss. That's not good. Oh, we were doubled in shots, 44-22. That's not good. Ian Turnbull was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Daly was the second star with 3 assists, and Brian Propp was the third star with a goal and an assist. Philadelphia opened up the scoring in the first with 3 goals. That was a 3-0 lead after 1. Then they added into the second period. It was 4-0 Philadelphia after 2. And in the third period, André Lacroix scored from Byron Schutt and Blaine Stockton. It was 4-1 Philadelphia, and then they added 2 more goals. That was a 6-1 defeat. Yeah, we didn't look too good in that one. It happens. We had our mindset on Christmas. Like, Gordillo is 51. He probably forgot it was Christmas, and he's last second to have to go and buy his Christmas presents and everything, and it bothered him all game. That kind of shit happens. Hockey players are human beings. Denis Potvin extends his point streak to 13 games. He had an assist against the Blackhawks. Oh, there's been a trade right before Christmas. Kurt Bennett was traded for Dave Logan. We already know that Kurt Bennett is not good. And then Dave Logan is probably not good either. Oh, he actually can play some. So... Alright. Well, we are headed into Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Or Happy Holidays. Or, whatever it is that you celebrate. There was a trade between the Islanders and the North Stars. Mike Eves, actually a player that has some ratings, and Mike Fiddler were traded to the Islanders for Jean Potvin and Chuck Chiot. Oh yeah, that's the player that whose last name, if I'm saying it properly, that's not a nice thing to say in French. That's like a shitter. Ooh, that guy is overrated a little bit. He's a 12 too, I guess, but yeah. Alright, so that's somewhat of a move that with players that actually might play in the NHL, so And that happened on Christmas. Merry Christmas! Now move the fuck out of our town. Oh, we have a trade proposal from the New York Islanders. Are they offering me Mike Bossy? That'd be fun. Nope, they're offering me Tim Lockridge for Rickley. I'm gonna say no. Even though he's 20, he's probably not gonna develop all that much more. And, those ratings are in the American League, so yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna keep Rickley. I mean, he's not very good, but at least he has leadership. That has to count for something, right? He's good in the room or something. Alright, the Flyers are in town, so we're gonna try to avenge that last loss, 6-1. Now we're back on our, in our own barn here, so hopefully we get a win. And that would keep the pattern of winning, losing, right? Where it's back to a win now. Pete Peters is going to be in net for the Flyers. Al Smith in net for the Waiters. Go, Waiters, go! Nope, that's another loss. The pattern has been broken. Well, I'm pretty upset. A 5-3 loss on home ice against the Flyers. Oh, we did outshoot them this time 28-26, but we lost. Brian Propp was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Blaine Stockton was the second star with 2 assists. And McLeish was the third star with a goal and an assist. Sellout crowd in Hartford. Flyers scored twice in the first period. It was 2-0 Flyers after 1. Then they added 2 more goals in the second period. That was 4-0 Flyers after 2. Then in the third period, we made things interesting. Dave Keon scored from Blaine Stockton and Jordy Douglas, made it 4-1. Then Mark Howe scored on the power play from André Lacroix and Jordy Douglas, made it 4-2. Gordie Howe scored from André Lacroix and Blaine Stockton. It was 4-3. We were down 1 goal with 59 seconds left to go in the game. But with 1 second remaining into the game, the Flyers scored, and that was a 5-3 loss. So we came back in that one. We almost had it. Almost. Stan Mikita studied 1,500 points in his career with an assist against the St. Louis Blues. Brown's Child was suspension ends. He's back in the lineup for the Blues. Dennis Marouk extends his point streak to 14 games. He had an assist against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Then there was a trade between the Red Wings and the Islanders. Darcy Rogier was traded to the Red Wings for JP LeBlanc. Very small trade again. Then we have a trade proposal from the Winnipeg Jets. Oh, they want to trade me Barry Melrose. Now, if you know hockey, you've heard that name probably before. He's a star-and-a-half defenseman. He actually could play in the NHL. I think I'm going to make that trade. I'm going to go get good old Barry Melrose for Rick Clay. Those are American League ratings, but 14 is going to be a 10. So he's at least going to be able to play a little bit better at the NHL level than Rick Clay. Rick Clay is not even a 10 in anything. He's barely a 9 in a couple things. I'm going to make that trade. Plus, Barry Melrose is young, and with the franchise hockey manager development engine, who knows? Maybe he can develop a little bit further. I'm gonna make that trade. Rickley, you're gone. Welcome home, Barry Melrose. Bring your mullet home, you crazy motherfucker. Oh yeah. All right, Barry Melrose. Oh, there's always a chance that he was mis-scouted by my scouts. I didn't think about that until now. He's an 11 and a 10. All right, so he can play a little. He's just not a great player, but those ratings are a little bit higher than Rick Clay, so we're going to take it. Barry Melrose on the team, folks. We have a mullet. Mission accomplished. That should have been my challenge, to acquire a player with a mullet. All right, now we have 2 days off, and then we're going to be in St. Louis to play against the Blues. That's actually going to be the last game of December. Sil Apps has racked up 600 points in his career. He had a goal against the Quebec Nordiques. Good game for Robbie Ftorek for the Nordiques in that same game. He had 4 assists. And then Tony Potvin's point streak ended at 13 games. Didn't get a point against the Montreal Canadiens. All right. Oh, what's going on here? Claxon is suspended in Pittsburgh. He's going to miss 2 games. A good game for Dennis Marouk. Again, he had 3 goals and an assist against the Blackhawks. Pretty good. That was 15 games with a point for him. And then that was 8 games with an assist as well. Alright, Mike Rogers is about to come back. He's 1 to 2 weeks away. We need him. He's my best centerman, and he got down early. He only played 9 games. He was almost a point per game. We need him. Corrado shopping Bill Lockhead. It is a challenge. Alright, so he's on the block. And then there's been a trade between Buffalo and the Islanders. Mike Boland is going to the Islanders for Kevin Devine. So again, small players changing locker rooms. And now we're going to play in St. Louis against the Blues. That's our first game of the season against the Blues. That ought to be the last team we haven't played against. So we're going to take a look here at their lineup. Here, they have quite a few injuries. So Brown's-Child that was suspended, now he's hurt, not going to play. Danny Grant is hurt, not going to play. And Bernie Federico, arguably their best player, is hurt and not going to play. Yeah, he had 22 points in 29 games. Maybe a little off for Federico. Federico was a really good player for a while. Probably the best Saskatoon Blades player to ever play for Saskatoon. One of the best for sure. Maybe not the best, but he's up there for sure. Alright, so... Oh, I didn't look at their lineup. So Mike Liut and Stanielski in net. Affleck, Kia... Lapointe, Brewer, Micheletti, Giroux and Stewart on D. Klassen, Leffley, Suller, Williams, Antonovich, Bardolo, Dunlop, Patty, Zook, Palazzari, Babich, Crumbine, and Curry up front. And that's Wayne Babich, not Dave Babich. Dave Babich was a defenseman. He actually played for the Hartford Whalers for a while in real life. In my universe, who knows? He may or he may not. Alright, let's beat the St. Louis Blues. I don't remember if I said what their record is. It's 18-12-6, so decent record for the Blues here. So I'd like to finish the calendar year with a win. John Garrett in net for the Whalers. Ed Staniowski in net for the St. Louis Blues. Go Whalers, go. Oh, we got shut out for nothing. Those are boring because we didn't score. St. Louis outshot us 30-22. Klassen was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Lapointe was the second star with an assist. And Giroux was the third star with an assist as well. Not going to talk much here. We didn't score. That's a 4-0 loss to end the calendar year. That's kind of sad. And Dave Keon is hurt. Oh, that's no bueno. Oh, he's day to day. Okay, who knows? We might be okay. Rick Aduano improves at left wing. Good. Right, so I'm still going to sim until January 1st. We have 4 days off here, so Dave Keon has the time to get better. Alright, Ian Turnbull in Philadelphia got hurt. He's going to miss 3 months. And Reggie Leach extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and an assist against the Colorado Rockies in that same game. So a costly win for the Flyers. Good night for Dave Lumley. He had a hat-trick against the Quebec Nordiques. Dennis Marouk extends his point streak to 16 games with an assist against the Rangers. That was 9 straight games with an assist for him as well. Alright, the scouting is kind of pointless. And the player poll result in 1979-1980, the best skater would be Wayne Gretzky. Nobody saw him skate yet because he's been out of the lineup, but it is what it is. Hardest shot is Brad Park of the Bruins. The toughest is Dave Schultz in Buffalo. Yeah, I believe it. Fastest, Guy Lafleur in Montreal. Best role model, Ray Bourque. The cleanest player is Dave Keon. So we do have somebody that won something. Controversial, Mario Faubert in Pittsburgh. The most overrated is Jacques Richard in Buffalo. The most underrated is Rod Langway in Montreal. The smartest is Bengt Eik Gustafsson with the Washington Capitals. Toughest goalie to beat, Tony Esposito, and the coach you'd most like to play for, Scotty Bowman, coach for the Buffalo Sabres. Not Montreal, not Pittsburgh. Sorry, not Detroit. Buffalo Sabres. We have one more day to sim here. No suspension for Minnesota's Barrett. So Fred Barrett not suspended. Suspension over for Claxton and Pittsburgh back in the lineup. Top-selling Hartford Whalers jerseys for December. Gary Doak, Mike Polish, Barry Melrose, Rick Aduano, and Nick Fotiu. That's weird. No Gordial, no Markow, no. No, Gary Doak, a guy that I claimed off waivers. Mike Polish, another guy that I claimed off waivers. Barry Melrose, a guy I traded for. Rick Aduano, another guy I claimed off waivers. And Argoon. Those are the guys that sold the most jerseys in December. Might have to rethink the algorithm a little bit. Oh, that's why. Yeah, they all had their owl jersey. Development report, alright, let's take a look here. So, Rick Aduano, getting better in leadership. Al Sims in leadership as well. Charles Luxa in professionalism. Okay, offensive read might help Don Nagbar. Passing for Ray Neufeld, that's good. Mark Renault, professionalism. And Stuart Smith, bravery and puck handling. And now look at all those players that are getting worse. Oh, that's not good. Oh, Barry Melrose is getting worse, not better. I want a refund on my trade. Oh, he's not even an 11 increased scoring defenseman anymore. He's only a 10. No. One of them is good. The other one, not so much. We can go and check that here in a second. Top selling NHL jerseys for December. Guy Lafleur. Look at that. Montreal Canadiens all the way. I don't like that. I'm just going to delete the email. Players of the month were Mike Bossy and Don Edwards. Alright, so to answer the question of my coaches. So, my head coach is not great. So Don Blackburn is not great. He's not a great coach. But I don't like to start a save and get rid of the people right away. I always try to wait at least a year, because to me that's kind of just shitty. So I'm just writing it out for this season, and then I'm re-evaluating. So my head coach is not great. Now my offensive coach, my offensive coach shouldn't be coaching offense. He should be coaching defense. So maybe that's something to look at, because I wouldn't mind if he was my defensive coach, but he's my offensive coach and he's only a 6. So definitely something to look at. My goalie coach, he's a 15, so you know that I don't have much of a problem with that. Maybe physical training could be higher, but you know what? That rating here doesn't bother me. 15 for my goalie coach. My defensive... Oh, no, he was my... No, that's... Yeah, that's... It's reverse. And my defensive coach actually is not too bad at coaching defense. Although, you know, defenseman is 12, but defensive skills is not too bad at 15. So definitely I could get better. And then skill coach. Okay. Again, I could do better a little bit. Then my trainer is a 15, so not too shabby, not too great. So I'm definitely gonna need to check that, but I want to change my head coach for sure, and then kind of look at other assistants maybe. But yeah, I don't have the greatest coaching staff, but like I said, I hate to come in, you know, start of the say, all right, let's fire everybody, let's bring my people in. So yeah. Alright, so after everything is said and done, we have dropped in the standings. We are now 9th in the conference. That's not good. We're tied with the Quebec Nordiques, although we do have 3 games on. So we're going to need to start winning some games here. We're in danger of not even being in the playoffs, but we are also in positioning ourselves to get a good draft pick maybe. So there's also that. Nobody was expecting for me to win the Stanley Cup in year 1 anyway, so yeah. Yeah, maybe we can look at the other conference. So one thing that I did notice is this division here is pretty strong. Like there's only one team that's under 500. as opposed to the Campbell Conference. You know, everybody's under 500 except for St. Louis. So yeah, definitely have some room to grow. We are the team that has scored the least goals in the entire league. We are the only team that didn't reach 100 goals. So far, we're at 93. So we really don't have a very good offense. Let's take a look at the players that we do have, see what they look like in terms of stats. So we have Blaine Stockton as a point per game. So I wasn't too sure about him. I did mention that at the start of the series. He's a point per game, 30 points in 30 games. Gordy Roberts, 25 and 34. André Lacroix, 25 and 34. Dave Keon, 23 and 34. So we really... Markow is 14 and 21. I expect a little bit more from Markow, but he's poorly surrounded. Like, I don't have a whole lot of offense to start with, and my best forward, Mike Rogers, is hurt, so he's not there. All right, and we're going to take a look at stats for the entire league. Best goal scorers are Phil Esposito and Rick Martin with 30 goals each. Best passer is Gilbert Perrault by quite a bit, actually. He has 47, and the best scorer is Gilbert Perrault with 66 points. And of course, we're nowhere to be found here. We don't score much. I find it's kind of pointless to look at goalie leaders in the 80s, you know, because, yeah. But here you have it. So that's going to be it for today. A little bit of a longer stream here because we did talk about the Markow situation. So again... let me know what you know now. Kim already has cast a vote here by saying that we probably should hold on to Markow and build around him. But there's two other options. We can trade him for two decent pieces that are going to be around for a while, or we can wait until the end of the season and reevaluate. So let me know once you watch this on YouTube how you feel about that. That's going to be it for today. So again, I want to thank you for joining in, especially Kim, that's been here since the very start. It's almost like, you know, you were like stalking me or something because you got in real quick. And if you're catching that on YouTube later, you like the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. But for now, that's it. So until next time, see ya later.